This is the Tactical Muffin Top, Muffin Top, Talk to Me Goose live stream, y'all. Muffin Top is, well, as you guys know, most plans don't go according, but we're en route now. Got a little bit of a drive. Figured I'd talk to y'all. A couple things picking at my brain. One may turn into the topic for Sunday's live stream, though, because I think it's really important, and I think I want to get some obscure things on paper so I don't miss anything, because there is a lot to cover in that topic that is pushed in the back of most people's forethought. But what up, Brian H. Sassy, my fave movie. That's your favorite movie? That's funny. I don't think I've actually seen the movie. I only really know the quote through Family Guy. I'm sorry, Sassy. What up, Austin? Good name for me, I think. Yeah, guys, we're driving. It's raining. Doing a bathroom finish up. I think all we got to do in this bathroom is we're setting a toilet, getting that all rigged up, and then we're setting a new vanity, and we're doing some mud and drywall and some paint. And then I'm going to relocate a washer dryer. So that's what's up. What up, Hutch? Lurk Squad, bro. That's my game. Hutch is always on when I'm at work, and I'm like lurking. Gma Nana, she's like, she never say hi to me. I'm like, well, if I'm working, I can't say hi to everybody saying hi to me. You know what I mean? Like, goddamn. That's all good. No, Hutch is good shit. I was listening to your live stream last night, Hutch, and I came in like midway through. I had to like stop where you were live, and I had to go back and listen to the beginning so I knew what was happening. And yeah, I agree with you. I've had some issues in my Discord as well. Free speech doesn't mean you can be a fucking piece of shit. And I agree with that. I had another issue with somebody, not the sexual side, but just think that you could say whatever you want through a keyboard, but if you said that to somebody's face, you'd be fucking missing your front teeth. And it's a respect thing, and it's the troll thing. It pisses me off something fierce. I agree with you, 100%. And if it's something you don't want on your shit, well, then they can go do their own thing somewhere else. You know what I mean? I feel you. 100%. I agree with that. But yeah, just free speech doesn't give you the right to be an asshole, everybody. I mean, I'm an asshole naturally, but come on. Like, if that's not what you're going for, that's not what your community's for, 100%. I agree. There's channels out there where you can be a degenerate. You can go do it over there. Anyway, I don't know if y'all caught Red Dawn Readiness's Rumble chat last night. That's one topic that I kind of, the April 5th seems like a perfect opportunity for bad actors to use that as basically a blanket of movement, right? There's a protest for a bunch of libtards basically calling Trump and Musk and what we're doing Nazis, and they're like, oh my gosh, this presidency is losing our country, blah, blah, blah. Well, fuck. Yeah. Yeah, see, I feel bad because, like, you guys even set up, like the Hutch was saying, we have lost our way as a community. Last year was embarrassing. Yeah, see, I think you're talking about your meetup. Yeah, I think that you get enough people, they're like, oh man, I'm going to get out my tactical kit and walk around. And you're trying to build like a forever deal. Kind of like, I don't want to like sound like I'm bragging, but since I'm like a generational prepper, like my entire family was raised this way. So like as our family expands, we just keep getting more and more, you know, there's some trusted friends in it, and but it's my mag's mostly family, and I have a huge family. So like, think about 16 to 20 families all being able to coexist. Yeah, if your family, you get on each other's nerves or whatever, but the skill sets are shared, the everything's shared, and then what you specialize in as far as like work or whatever, for your professional career, you bring those additional skills to the table, and then you do what humans do. We breed, and you expand your mag like organically. So like, yeah, it has been that way a while. And you know, I'm kind of a retard in comments. I like to have fun. I like everybody to laugh. I like everybody to have fun. Not everything needs to be doom and gloom and shit all the time. So I'm kind of a smart ass to try and break up the tension. And some people, like, sometimes the timing hits perfect and everybody laughs, and some people get all pissed off at me for it. And I get it, man. Like, if you're, you know what I mean? But, yeah, 100%. But if you're trying to build that forever community, like, you don't need the gung-ho guys, and then you don't need pervy guys, and you don't need this and that, because you want to have that kind of people. Those kind of people are the ones you want to be able to trust. Hey, five of us are going to leave our kids here, and I know that you're going to die for them, and I know that you'd live for them to make sure nothing like this happens. You know, Operation Peachtree, wood chipper the pedophiles onto for compost for fruit-bearing trees, so that way they're actually useful for this world. They feed us, right? That's muffin top stance. But yeah, I don't want some fucking dude running around hitting grandmas and daughters. Like, those people won't have teeth in my camp, and then there will be Operation Peachtree accordingly, or, you know, Operation Feed the Hog. You know what I'm saying? Sassy 7, 100%. Too much serious is bad, and it's also probably a coping mechanism for massive depression on muffin top stances to be a fucking smartass. But, you know, it just happens. That's just fucking how it happens. But anyway, I'm glad I don't have like that side of it on my shit. But my squirrel. The April 5th protest, they said they wanted to do a bunch of rural areas and bigger cities. The bigger cities are the blue cities that burn all the time and have protests. It's protest season. It's warm. Protesters don't like to be cold. They don't know what it's like to work outside for a living. So if it's, you know, rainy, whatever, they only like to operate in peak weather conditions. So it's officially rioting season / professional protest season, right? With that, there was another date dropped on a couple videos saying something about the 10th, where basically Dies Eras type hits with the book, the Day of Wrath, right? So it would be a really, really good opportunity to pluck from the grouping some more serious actors, and B, insert some other serious actors to do more widespread shenanigans. A blanket of retards that are is a great blanket for the predator or the wolf to walk through and be shielded and not be seen, right? And that's exactly how the Nazis did it. They had their armband, their colors, right? You get your green, brown, reds, or your yellow, brown, reds, or whatever armband technology you want to insist on people, and then you mark them Nazis, or you mark them Trump, you mark them Musk, you mark them whatever your opposition, and it makes it really easy to target certain events, certain things, and radicalize people. And the left is really good at one thing the right is not, and that is organizing large crowds. And we all say, "Oh, we're cool. We got my 45 and my 12 gauge, and I'll take care of anything at my front porch." Your 45 and your 12 ain't gonna do a whole lot versus 50 people. I mean, it doesn't take that many. Hell, even against 20 people that are armed, like, it doesn't take a lot to overwhelm a position, especially a non-fortified position such as a normal house. We don't have brick and cinder block houses a lot anymore, guys. We have just vinyl siding and wood. I mean, a 22 can pop that shit. It doesn't. The defend your castle with a 45 and 12 gauge concept was gone years ago. That's a defeatist mentality. The best way is through community. So you need to build a good one, and if it's something that you don't like, you need to remove it like cancer. So the problem with that is whatever you cut out and remove in cold for the cancer cutting is probably going to be like a werewolf prepper type situation towards your group if they know about you, if they get in far enough, deep enough, right? So. Right. Yeah. There's some give and take, Hutch, but yeah, I see what you're saying. And Quifa, yeah, it's Anquifa season, bro. I'm just driving. I've been thinking about this when I was getting ready, and I've re-listened to Red Dawn's thing twice. I caught the tail end of it there at the live. that is coinciding with some other dates that I've been told to watch out for, and the 10th is saying some stuff about possible stuff. If you guys look at my War News and Discord, there's one article that I haven't been able to find anything else on. That ran it through a credible source for Muffin Top, and the hospital thing, that's been on the books for years. It's always been a soft target thing. The school has always been a soft target thing. We already know the DSRS, the Day of Wrath, that plan's been on the books for 20 years. The book came out 10 years ago. So it's old playbook trying to get accelerated. Unfortunately, I think. What up, BV? Yep. If you shepherd your flock, you decide what's in your flock, right? So I feel that. Yep. You guys know I've tried to I've had chats on here. I've tried to expand my mag a few times, and quite frankly, I've told some that have been long-time mag members because their views have changed, and I no longer would trust my family in their hands, and we're trying to expand because we realize a larger chunk of the mag is older. So what happens when they all die? Well, your mag either shrinks and continues to shrink because we all age out, and we don't breed like rabbits, right? It's just we're just humans. And B, you need new skill sets, and times have changed, and the events of drones and nods becoming decently affordable now, and tactics have changed. You know, you get some old dude from the Navy in the 80s, or you get some Air Force guy from the 90s, and shit's changed since then. So you need to brush up on new tactics. You need, you know, if you have police in your mag, if you have an older cop or sheriff, shit's changed. Shit changes in 10, 20 years, guys. So being able to freshen up your mag that way is important. So think of it that way. Not to mention your skills should have increased too. You should have at some point either added gardening, animal husbandry, hunting, processing your own meat, smoking, wood cutting. You should have gained some sort of additional skill that's going to assist you in prepping. And so should everybody else in your mag. Maybe one guy decided to go way down the tech rabbit hole and got really good at PCs and fixing computers and shit. Well, guess what? Everybody has, or got really good at fixing phones. Everybody has a phone. Everybody has technology that gets outdated, needs upgraded, needs shit downloaded, and you know, protected, antiviral, all that crap. You get a guy really good at that, cool. He'd probably be able to branch over to drones pretty quick, right? And then start your drone maintenance program for your mag. Start everything like that. Like if that's their niche in the world and they're good at that, keep them in that sector, but expand it a little bit. If you get the one guy who's the best gun guy in the group, he's probably your armorer. But guess what, dude? Sights change, guns change, parts change. So it's whatever. And then you get the gardening guy. Guess what? Every season's different. This season already we have is starting off really. We still have snow in the forecast. We're supposed to possibly still get snow today. We don't really put in the ground until after Mother's Day in my grow location, but like there's a bunch of new people starting new stuff. We're starting new garden beds still. Every time you start a new garden bed, it takes a couple years to get it, situated and everything like that. You're not just starting a garden like that, and it's going to work out. Pat Bright. Hey, what up, Pat? I figured you might be cruising.
Heyo.
What up, Chris? I don't know how
what
much
we talking about?
Heard, but I don't know if you caught Red Dawn's stream on Rumble last night.
Nope, didn't see it.
Okay, well, the 5th, April 5th, the Blue Hairs are doing a nationwide protest, and they said big cities, and they listed a bunch of smaller cities, but it's professional riot season, so it's on. They're just doing all that crap.
Outstanding.
Yep. I don't know if you've seen in my wartime Discord link. There's The 10th was a date for possible hospital T attacks, and hadn't seen anything else on that, and I ran it through some of Muffin Top sources, and I have not been able to find anything super credible on it. But when you start dropping dates, people start paying attention. So the dates are close enough to coincide. Some bad actors could move and network and increase numbers through this event. Wolves like to work through chaos, and there'll be plenty of chaos for them to move through freely.
Yeah. There's something to be said for flooding the zone, though. Like, they just keep throwing out all these different dates. This is going to happen. That's going to happen. And, you get immune to it. And then all of a sudden, that's when their real plan kicks into action. And you're not prepared at all because you've been gaslit for so long.
Yeah, and that's why I don't like to put a ton of stock into dates. But if you see patterns in the news, I might lose you guys here. I'm going through a dead spot. If you see patterns in the news and you know that your patterns most likely link up, it might not be the way you think, but you see X amount of acts of violence, kind of like a full moon theory, right? Like the hospitals and the police departments all know, hey, there's more crazies on a full moon because humans operate when they can see. That it's not necessarily a superstitious thing. It's you can see during a full moon, some more crime happens, some more this and that happens because you have ambient lighting. It's not necessarily, there's werewolves and witches and shit out, which there may be some cultic movement in that, but it's bear. But humans follow the path of least resistance. And if you don't have to have a flashlight when you're doing crime, you do more crime.
Yeah. I think you can't discount the warnings you get either. Like,
right.
The boys cried wolf 100 times and there's never been a wolf. I'm still not going to let my lambs, out in my front yard every night.
Right. What up, Astatine85? Your new name for me. I think I butchered that trying to drive here, but lawfully I sent you a link. You must be working. Oh yeah, you're working probably. But yeah, I'm just on the way to knock out a bathroom remodel, so this guy will help me do my bathroom. So getting off a little bit later start than what I wanted, but that's what it is.
And I guess you were talking about gardening just as I got on.
Yeah. Just people think that they're going to take off and start a garden. It takes 2 to 3 years for everything to get acclimated, for the pests to realize, for you to figure out the pests, even if it's just rabbit fencing, even if it's, figuring out you need to get extra beneficial plants to keep certain bugs away, or maybe you found a spot that doesn't get as much sun as what you thought, and you need to rotate it to a different shade crop. Like, you're not just going to start a garden in your front yard like they did in the World Wars, right? The Victory Gardens, I'd say probably had a 40% success rate, just because our front yards and backyards are decently fertile since we water them and maintain them, but it's not going to be as good as a raised garden bed that you know what you're doing.
I mean, I can attest to that. We tried our raised garden bed this year and we barely got anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my new bed didn't do great, other than green beans did awesome.
Like, we just threw some potting soil in into some, some wooden raised garden.
Right.
Just started planting stuff, and we did zero research on what plants needed what, and it probably doesn't get as much sun as it should, and we barely got anything.
Yep.
The peppers, they loved it. We got lots and lots of peppers, but I hate peppers.
Well, that don't help you too much then. I love stuffed peppers, and I love I'm about a week and a half behind on starting my jalapenos, but I like jalapeno poppers on the grill all season long. So, but I like just going to the garden and grabbing a couple tomatoes and a couple peppers and an onion and just slice them directly from the garden onto my food on my grill, dude. That's the best. Prepared citizens, 100%, bro. I should have sent you a link. Always be prepared. Know people that know stuff you don't. Amen, brother. And medical and comms, the two things that you're super great at, they're prepared citizens, are Muffin Top's weakness. And I'm a big enough man to let you guys know that's not my strong suit. You know what my strong suit is? It's gardening and butchery. And those aren't the sexy things that anybody talks about. Everybody's like, oh, I need to be a run and gun operator. Bro, you need fed. You know who's going to be awesome and shit in the band? Is grandma who can babysit the kids and repair your clothing, because you're not going to be able to run out and get new underwear and socks. As somebody who knows how to darn socks with a darner from the Great Depression, you're going to love that person, because socks are bomb.
You know, I think of it kind of analogous to, like, look at the way the Army operates. Like, the tip of the spear, the special forces, they couldn't operate in an area if it weren't for just like the regular infantry. Because the regular infantry can suppress an entire area, and then the special forces can go in and pinpoint where the force needs to be. But the tip of the spear, the special forces and the infantry, they can't survive without thousands and thousands and thousands of support behind them. There's got to be somebody to feed them all. There's got to be somebody to, take care of the logistics of getting their ammo and their weapons repaired and stuff like that. Like, you can't be just one thing. There, like your mutual assistance group or your family unit, whatever. You've got to have everything. You can have a shooter, but behind that shooter, you need like 4 or 5 people to feed them, clothe them, armor them, all that stuff.
Right. Yeah, man. Old man butt wrinkles, 100%. Yeah, and nobody talks about like having soil or pH test kits on hand in abundance for kids, man. You get your pH or your soil read for you, even if it's just a test strip, can tell you a lot about what you can plant there and what's going to work there or not. If you just throw shit in the ground, you're not going to have a fucking clue. But nobody wants to talk about that, because it's not, oh, how many mags should I have on my vest, or how many mags should I have on my belt? How many fucking dot LPBO? Like, that's all the prepping community. And I like to talk guns and stuff, and there's new stuff, and I like to learn about it. But, dude, nobody wants to talk about the hard stuff. It's actually getting out there with garden tools, rakes, hose, fucking shovels, gloves, sweat, fighting the bugs, fighting the sunburns. Dude, nobody wants to talk about having a tactical straw hat or shemagh to cover your neck. So why do you think they call rednecks? Because we're outside all the time burning our fucking necks. They're sunburned all the time. Like, goddamn. When you call somebody a redneck, that's usually probably a good woodsman, fisherman, gardener, hunter, gatherer, because they're outside doing shit. Yeah, old man, but that's a monetary gain, the pole dancing thing. That's funny. Tried squash, big fail. Really? Oh man. Squash did really good for us. But yeah, tomatoes. Yeah, tomatoes can have some issues, but yeah, tomatoes and cucumbers are probably the easiest to get started with, because your learning curve will be quick with them.
Yeah, my tomatoes didn't do shit. I guess they probably like a lot of sun.
Depends on the variety, but my super secret hack for tomatoes, and by the way, since gardening season is coming up, I've been hearing a lot of issues people are having with Miracle-Gro. So if you thought Miracle-Gro is going to save you, I'm hearing a lot of issues with germination rates. I'm hearing a lot of issues with starts with Miracle-Gro right now. And even if you get starts in the ground, if you start with Miracle-Gro, I've been hearing a lot of issues with Miracle-Gro killing stuff off and being I don't know if it's too hot this year or concentrate, or if they changed their formula, but kind of like I'm hearing the issue as well with the commercial chicken feed again, with reduction in egg production and things like that. So don't, yeah. And that's another thing, is being able to figure out. That's why I did my insect garden with no pesticides and no fucking fertilizers last year, was just seeing how hard it is to do it without it. I probably was half as productive as the year before. You know how much Muffin Top uses 7? That kills so many things and rid of so many issues for your plants. Like, if you don't have pallets of that stuff and shit hits the fan, and that's what you rely on to get your beautiful, abundant garden, and then you go to not have that and you think you're going to produce the same amount that you did, and that's your only plan, you're going to starve to death because you haven't done it a natural way. You are going to fucking starve to death. And now you talk about having, I always do like my numbers, 4 or 10. You talk about 4 families producing their gardens now and they think they have it to going to natural. Those families are going to die. You're going to lose people if that's your only thing. Now, that's why we prep and you have your backup stock. But when I talk about storing 700 pounds of food per person, and I say, it's easy. Just get 1,000 pounds of rice for everybody in your group. If you have 4 families, say it's 4 families of 4, that's 16,000 pounds of rice, guys. And that's not the only nutrient you need. That's just the bulk. You probably need multivitamins in there. You need different grains for breads. You need meat. That's the hardest one to stock because it's the most expensive. And then if you lose power, then you don't have your freezer. So you have to figure out different means. But fruit and vegetables have a lot of nutrients that you need. If you can't combine that with your long-term storage, you'll die. It's not the fancy cool shit being out in the front line versus 20 guys and everybody imagines themselves being Rambo. It's you haven't eaten for a week and your body is too weak to move, you die. Like, it's just that simple. You know what I mean? It's food. Food's the biggest killer. And then before that, it's fucking water. But those are the 2 things that nobody talks about. And they're like, I heard somebody said, Muffin Top, you're a werewolf prepper. You just talk about guns all the time. I've smoked my piece about fucking food. And nobody seems to give a shit when I talk about it. So
I think you have to keep harping on it though, because every day there's somebody new. Well, maybe not every day, but there's always somebody new coming into it. And I think the trick is you kind of got to do like a 80-20 mix. Like you gotta talk about 80% of the cool prepper shit, like guns and optics and armor.
The new knife, right?
Yeah, the new knife. You got to draw them in with cool stuff like that, but then you got to kind of spatter in the what it's going to take to actually survive.
Right, and that might not be a bad way to put it.
Your next video about gardening should be called Tactical Gardening. You're going to get 1 million views on it.
Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. I'm out here. I might snag some cinder blocks because we're starting a bunch of them in ours area, and we're going to do a bunch of smaller gardens in his area and see. We didn't end up getting that lot. Plant some stuff there, but then he's like, if we end up putting a house there or something, because that's what he wants to do, is like Airbnb it. And I just got out of the truck, so I don't know if y'all can hear me. I'm at location I need to be, but Sassy says she has to be Rambo. Nice.
You need to name. Yep.
Okay.
Can you need to name your garden tiller? Name it AR-15.
Right. Yeah.
And
that's the way.
Name your hoe the Tactical Hatchet or something. Right. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Tactical Tomahawk.
Man, it's stupid, but you're probably right. If you guerrilla tactics your garden like that, you might get more out of it. But let's make the factory check. This guy said I could have all these cinder blocks. I'm going to take them today.
Hell yeah, cinder blocks have 1 million uses.
Fuck, he almost has a full pallet, it looks like. Fuck yeah. Muffin Top will take all that shit.
I can't tell you how many pavers and what do they call them, like retaining wall blocks and stuff like that people just give away. You keep your eyes open.
Oh yeah, we snag all that shit. Think about it, man. Like I said at the beginning, I don't know if you heard it or not, but most houses are just vinyl with wood. And like the guy who thought he had the 45 and a pump shotgun and let him come to my front door. Well, you're not going to be able to handle 20 people, let alone 50. So, and now your house is not, it's not like the brick houses like what we used to have. So, like, your family's in there, you know, with rounds coming at you. I mean, a 22 can poke through
Yeah,
that stuff.
yeah. A
So,
normal intermediate
that's
round
the
is going to
wrong
go through the
mentality.
side of your house. It's going to go through your refrigerator. It's going to go through you, and it's going to go out the other side of your house.
Yep. It's, people don't seem to want to think that way, but reality sucks, man.
A lot of houses don't even have plywood sheathing anymore.
Yeah, OSB, fresh shit,
Well, some
which is
don't even have
terrible to
that.
build with because it molds really bad.
Some of the houses built in the 90s were just had styrofoam insulation over the studs, and then siding on top of that.
Right? Messed up shit, man. Um, yeah, I don't know. The stuff that you practice and try to preach, and then people shit on you for it, and I'm like, you're gonna fucking die. You're gonna fucking die without it. And they're like, ah, fuck you. You don't know what you're talking about. You're some young kid. I'm like, bro, I know what a year's worth of food looks like for like 20 people, and I'm telling you, you don't have it.
And then every time someone shows up, even if they're like indispensable, like a freaking EMT or a doctor and a nurse show up, you're like, oh my God, I need you so bad. Well,
But they have a
can you
family of
feed it?
5, and you're like, oh my god, I can't feed you all.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying, man. If you have enough for a family of 10 and you're a family of 4, that gives you wiggle room to have people like that in.
Yeah.
Like, and then to have the amount of food for a family of 10, you guys need to realize, man, that's 7,000 pounds of fucking food for 1 year. Or not 7, that's 70,000, right? Or no, yeah, 7. 10, yeah, add a 0 times 700. Yeah, that's 7,000 pounds of food. The fuck are you putting that if you don't have a basement or a fucking cement slab? If you're in an apartment or something, forget about it. You can't put that in an apartment. Your apartment floor is going to fucking blow out.
And that doesn't even, the amount of food that you store doesn't even, like, it's a finite amount. If that's your only plan,
Right.
that's a,
What
it
happens when
start
it runs out?
as
Oh,
soon,
thank God we had
yeah,
1 year to live extra. Cool. You know what I mean?
as soon as you crack that first bucket, a timer starts as to how long that food is going to last. You have to be able to. I think it's probably Bear that says it, or maybe it's somebody else. You have to go from a consuming to a producing eventually. And the first couple of years, you're not going to be able to produce enough to even get you through the winter. So you've got to have food stock still put back
Right.
to get you through the
So
winter.
that's why I like Fatty Westside. He's telling everybody he's talking for 6 people, but he's going for a 2-year benchmark. That is correct, probably, because he's already accounting for the consumption and the partial replacement of some, right? So that's probably a more realistic stance, which is why I need to get Fatty Westside on, because me and him are really lining up with ideology and thought process right now pretty hard, and I think he's a good dude.
That'll be nice.
I do have some new people. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Mid Tier Thoughts, but I got him. We're trying to line up a show. That guy's like a bushcrafty bug out testing dude, and he's a no bullshit dude too. Like, he tests his shit. He does a lot of bug out mock stuff with his family involved and his like friend, whatever, like his equivalent of R, and like their family, and like they get together and they garden and they put up food and they do prepper meals. So like that's the kind of guy I want.
Nice.
Also, I have some stuff coming where Core. I've reached out to Core. They're doing some stuff for the channel. You guys will see soon. And I got a company that's smaller, and we are working on the details for that. But I'll probably wait for that one to let you guys know. But yeah, Core's working with us. I don't know if I'm going to get an affiliate link with them, but they're sending some stuff out for the channel, so that's cool because Muffin Top preaches Core. I've been wearing their belts for 14 years, so
Yeah, I
that's my
listened
shit.
to your chat yesterday. Getting a Alien Gear affiliate link.
Yeah, I didn't end up. Well, I sent out the paperwork for it. They sent me some stuff about it, but then Lawfully's like, "Oh no, Shapeshifter sucks," and I was like, "God damn it, Lawfully."
I think his point was more towards like, a multi-tool doesn't do a saw and a knife together. Like a knife, purpose-built knife is better than a saw knife, and a
Right.
purpose-built saw is better than a knife saw.
Now,
The shapeshifter does all those things, but not perfectly and in the most efficient and comfortable way. But
yeah, I
instead
just
of
like to talk shit on Lawfully because I love him.
instead of buying a $60 or $100 appendix rig just to find out you don't like how high it rides, so then you buy another $60 or $100 appendix rig that sits lower, and you're like, yeah, I still don't like it. And then you go to buy another $60 or $100 hybrid holster, so you wear it 3 or 4 o'clock. And then you're like, well, I just want to kind of cat around my property. I'd like to have it outside the waistband holster. Let me go buy another one. Well, that Shapeshift for $100, it's their starter kit. For $100, you get all those, and you get to try them all out. And if you find out that you hate appendix carry, and you'll never be comfortable, and you'll never do it, then to
Right.
um,
I
to
agree. Yeah.
look more towards
Well,
other
your
ones.
point with the shapeshift is what made me reach out to him because I'm like, that's a good idea because we all got a big old drawer of holsters that we think suck, that we grabbed at one point, and that's wasted money in my opinion.
Yep. Everyone's got the drawer of shame. Like when I took the Maryland wear and carry course to get my Maryland concealed carry permit, the people that were putting on the thing, they brought out 2 giant boxes of all the holsters that they've tried over the years, and it's 60 to $100 every time, every pop.
Yeah, a shapeshift will help with that. You know what I mean? Eliminate that drawer.
Yeah, it gets you in the ballpark of where you want, and then you can refine your choices from there on out. But in my opinion, Alien Gear still has quality options in all those categories. That was my favorite holster that I ever carried. The only downside I found is in the summertime that like neoprene material, it gets sweaty there, but it's a balancing act. Like I don't care what holster you put there in the summertime, it's going to get sweaty and gross.
Yeah, taken from Muffin Top, I sweat. Contrary to popular belief, especially whilst trying to cut more weight, which sucks because I'm kind of yo-yoing. I haven't been able to really work out well. I had that. I don't know if you heard. I had that issue with a newer nerve being pinched in my leg where I couldn't even fucking move 2 of my toes.
Yeah,
So
I
it was
heard you talking about going to
kind of
see a
being a bitch.
chiropractor and going to see a chiropractor, something about your
Yeah, I
toes.
did. He got me straightened out so I can do work on this bathroom with the guy. But I'm here, guys, so I'm going to let y'all go. Thanks for hopping in. Thanks, Pat, for swinging in here.
Sure. I was trying to
Muffin
do a
Top's got to
live
get to work.
yesterday morning. I was going through some really cool mountains in Phoenix, coming out of Phoenix, but for some reason, just I ran out of hours on StreamYard, and YouTube just wasn't having it.
Yeah, try the Rumble Studios. It's free. That's why I do it.
Yeah, yeah, I got into started messing around with that, but I can't figure out how to like switch my camera. Anyway, do what you got to do, brother.
Deuces, everybody. I appreciate y'all. Check us out every
See ya.
Tuesday, Thursday on the Tactical Muffin Top channel, and Sunday.
Y'all be nice.